Morning everyone, how are we this morning? So I'm really excited that we're going to be doing part 2 of our core series, so our August series, part 1, 2 and 3. We did part 1 last week, which is all about core and abs, and now we're going to be doing core and upper limb this morning, followed by core and a lower limb on Thursday. It's really exciting that you're all here this morning and just waiting for you all to come on. Here we go, we've got people starting to come now. Brilliant. Good morning. Hope you've got all your mats set up. Now, you don't actually need any equipment this morning. You just need a mat. We're going to be doing upper limb, but using body weight. So you don't need to have any weights or anything like that. It's very, very simple. It'll be 30 minutes long. Obviously throughout the session, if you're feeling that you've got any pain anywhere or any discomfort, then just stop what you're doing. Please go to the easier version if that works better for you. It's all about good form, making sure you're doing the exercises correctly and you're using the muscles that you should be using, okay? So all about good form and not putting too much stress or strain on any body parts. So we'll warm up our body first of all, so we go through a little bit of mobility and stretching, wake ourselves up, a little bit of core, and then we'll go into some upper limb work. So come down onto the mat, and I just want you to keep your knees bent. I always like to start the day with some windscreen wipers. I just find it a really nice exercise. If you bring your feet wide onto the mat, and then you're just allowing your knees to fall to one side, and then to the other. I just find this is a really nice exercise to do because it just gives you that little bit of sort of mobility through the back. It opens up the hips a little bit, feeling that stretch through like the thigh as well. And it's just a nice and gentle one to start waking up the body. I mean, perhaps this morning you're doing this in your pyjamas, or maybe you've already been up and out, and maybe like Dawny, you've already been swimming this morning, so. And then we're just going to bring both the knees up towards the chest. Give yourself a little bit of a rock from side to side. And then bring your head up to join your knees. So nice full body stretch, curling up. And then if we can go into a lengthened position, so pointing our toes, pointing our fingertips, straightening our body out, giving ourselves a full body stretch in this position. And then bringing ourselves back down. And then we'll start waking up the core. So just start with some pelvic tilts. You may want to pop your hand on top of your pelvis, and as you tilt your pelvis backwards, so as you flatten all your spine onto the mat, you'll feel the squeeze of your abdominal muscles, the squeeze of your glutes, and then as you reposition and you're arching, you'll now create a little curvature in your lower back, so you create this space. So you're just flowing it from one position to the other. But trying to use your abdominal muscles as you do this, and try and keep your rib cage nipped in as well. So remember, we don't want to have flared ribs. We want to use the squeeze of all the abdominals as you just go from one position to the other. And then the next time you do that, we're going to go up into our bridge. So tuck in the tailbone underneath you, feeling the squeeze of the abdominals, squeeze of your glutes. Now push down through your feet, make sure your feet are hip distance apart as you just start to peel up into your bridge, and then we're going to peel back down. So with our bridge exercise, you're trying to lift one vertebra at a time on the way up, and then position one vertebra at a time on the way back down. So you're curling up and curling down. You can start using the breath with this as well. It'll be easier to use the exhale. So inhale as you breathe, come up, exhale as you come back down. But remember to keep the pressure through the feet the whole time. And keep that tuck, so tucking the tailbone, peeling yourself up, and then lowering yourself back down, one vertebra at a time. Just getting a nice little rhythm going. And then we're going to bring in the arms as well. So now, as you peel, like you tuck your tailbone and peel yourself up, the arms are going to go up, overhead. Slight pause at the top, and then as you come back down, the arms are going to come back down with it. So push through the feet, tuck the tailbone underneath you, peel yourself up one vertebrae at a time, arms go overhead, bringing yourself back down, allowing the arms to come with it. So really feel the tuck, really use the abdominal muscles, don't let your rib cage flare. So at that top position, make sure you've got that nice straight position, don't allow the rib cage to come up. So what I mean by that is you don't want to flare here, so keep that rib cage nipped in, don't overshoot it because that's then bringing in your back extensors. And then on the next one, as you come up, I now want you to just really push through your feet so that you're nice and solid. So really squash those grips with your feet. Bring your arms to 90 degrees. And then we're swapping. So one arm goes behind, one arm comes down, and you're controlling that position. So you're really feeling strong through the core. So your body shouldn't be moving now. Your body is nice and still, your pelvis is level, nothing is wobbling as you go from side to side. So you've really got to use your core muscles to keep your body straight as you just move your arms from one position to the other. So think about that alignment, knee, hip and shoulder alignment. Pelvis is level as you just moving your arms from one position to the other. And then bring both the arms back into the 90-degree position, pointing to the ceiling. And then come back down one vertebra at a time. Now lower your thoracic spine, then your lumbar spine, then your pelvis. And then bring those arms back down. And then just bring your legs back up into that kind of crunch position and just give yourself a little bit of a wiggle from side to side. Lower the feet back down. And then we're just going to use the abdominals in the opposite way. So hands are onto your thighs. You're tucking your tailbone, so you're keeping that back completely flat against the mat. Chin is coming into the chest. You're reaching up towards your knees, and then we're just pulsing here. So just breathe nice and gently. Keep your back flat against the mat, so try not to have an arch in that lower back here. Chin is to chest, so don't allow your chin to come up. So your vision is looking between your thighs as you just pulse in. Keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now slowly bring yourself back down. Well done. So this time, I want you to tuck your tailbone underneath you, bring one knee up and then the other. So make sure you don't have that arch as you bring your legs up. Keep your hands on your pelvis, so make sure your pelvis isn't moving in any way. So you engage the core to stabilise your pelvis, and then you're just going to bring one leg down to toe tap and bring it back up. So we're alternating, but you've really got to squeeze in the middle to stop your pelvis from arching and creating this curvature here. So you've really got to keep that back completely flat and just allow your leg to come down one at a time. Now, if you notice, I'm not changing my knee angle, so I'm just moving from the hip. So the hip joint is moving, the knee joint isn't moving. So if you're sort of bending and straightening your knee, if you're doing this instead, try to keep the knee angle the same and move from the hip, because that's a different exercise if you're bending from there. If you use your exhale on the way down, inhale on the way up, find that you'll access the core better and you'll be able to control that movement better. Now you can stay here with your head and shoulders, or if you wanted to, you could even raise your head and shoulders up as well. And if you feel like you're stabilised through the pelvis, you can even bring your arms to the side. So the arms are slightly elevated in line with your shoulders. So as you go up and down, you're then controlling that movement. So now you're feeling your deep neck flexor muscles working as well in your neck. So just a slightly harder version than keeping the head down. Keep that breath going. Should really feel your abs working quite a bit now to lower the leg. Remember, you're moving from the hip, not the knee. Last one. Now before you come down, unravel your head and shoulders first, then bring yourself down one at a time, one leg and then the other leg, and then give yourself a nice full body stretch. So if you bring that back up, so this time I want you to engage your core, and you're going to keep your right leg still, and you're going to allow the left knee to come out to the side and then back in. And then we're going to swap over, allow the right knee to go out and then back in. So you're keeping one leg still, so the leg that's still, squash your grapes through that foot, keep your pelvis level and keep the tuck so that you haven't got this arch in your back. So as your knee comes out, what you don't want to do is the pelvis comes with it and rolls with it. So the pelvis stays level. Now only move your knee as far as what you can. If you find that your pelvis is coming with it, that could be a little bit of hip stiffness as well. Like I can't actually move my hip very far out to the side. I don't have that amount of hip range. So if I wanted my leg to fall out further, I'd have to twist my pelvis. It's all about keeping the pelvis level, keeping your back still, so nothing moves in the trunk. The only thing that's moving is from the hip joint. So you might want to really push through that foot on the supporting leg. So the leg that's not moving, really feel strong in that leg, and that will help to stabilise your pelvis as well, as you just allow your knee to drop from one side to the other. And again, like I say in all these classes, you know, use your exhale. So as you breathe out on the movement, it's going to help you to stimulate your core. The diaphragm is part of the core muscles, so how we breathe is important. Rather than holding your breath, it's just allowing one knee to fall and then the other. And then I want you just to bring both your knees up into that 90-degree position again. And we're going to do exactly the same as the first exercise, but now our legs are in the air. So keep the squeeze, keep your pelvis level, allow your knee to come out to the side and back in. So you might want to have that flex foot, breathing out on the way out, breathing in on the way back in. And trying to do it without your pelvis moving. So if you feel that your pelvis is shifting, really get that extra squeeze around the abdominals. Keep controlling it, keep that breath going. Use the exhale on the way out, inhale on the way up. So just allowing the knee to come out to the side. And then bring one knee down, or one foot down, and then the other foot down, and then have a little rest. So we're going to go on to our fronts now and bring in a little bit more upper body work. So the first thing we're going to do is come down onto the mat, onto our front, wake up all our posterior shoulder muscles. So all the postural muscles that keep our shoulders in place are really good for rounded shoulders if you've got a rounded shoulder posture. So in this position, make sure you're still tucking the tailbone. So I don't want you to feel like you're really arching that lower back. If you tuck the tailbone and get the glutes engaged and your lower abdominals engaged, that is going to support this part of your body, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is be looking down, tucking the tailbone, arms are outstretched, and then you're just lifting up just an inch off the floor. So even being in this position, you might think, oh gosh, that's actually a lot more challenging than what I thought. Keep your head looking down, you're lifting from the shoulder, you're locking out your elbows, so make sure your elbows are not bent. So really locking out those elbows, lifting from the shoulder, holding that position, and then just try and pulse up towards the ceiling. So keep your core engaged, keep your glutes switched on, just pulsing up, little pulses towards the ceiling, keeping the elbow locked out, wrist is in neutral, squeezing the muscles from the back of the shoulder. Don't let your core switch off, so make sure you're really working it from the waist all the way up. And then I just want you to pause and hold, and then bend your elbows and bring your elbows down to your waist, and then bring them back up. So you're just hovering off the floor, so an inch or so off the floor, a couple of inches off the floor, keeping your head looking down, squeezing the back of the shoulder, so feel like the back of the shoulder, like in between the shoulder blades, that's where all the activity is. And you're just skimming off the floor. Keep breathing, squeezing up and down. And then just bring your arms back down. So the next exercise, we're going to go into a Y position. So your arms are at a diagonal. Again, lock out the elbows. So wrists and elbows are in neutral and they're straight. And then we're lifting up, again, just a few inches off the floor, feeling the squeeze behind the shoulder blades and just pulsing here in a Y position. Keep your core engaged and keep squeezing between the shoulder blades. Lifting up towards the ceiling, pulsing up, little pulses. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come down. Try not to flop. That's just gravity. When we flop back down, that's just gravity. Now we're going to bring our arms now into a T position. So now they're going straight out. Head is down, tuck the tailbone, lift up. So we're pulsing here. So feeling the squeeze at the back of the shoulder blades. Squeezing together. Keep your elbow locked out, your wrists locked out. The movement is all from the back of the shoulder. Keep it going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now slowly lower. And then the last one in this position, going into a W. So bending your elbows this time. But as you lift up, try and keep your shoulder, elbow and wrists in line, rather than try not to lift up and your elbows are coming up higher or even lower, or your wrists are coming up lower or higher. So try and keep everything level, and then we're pulsing here. So in a W position this time. So your arms making a W, wrists are level, elbows level, squeezing behind the back of the shoulders. So prone exercise is a really simple way of using gravity to get the strength, which is why we don't need any weights today. Gravity is all we need. Keeping the squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly come back down. Okay, well done. Bring yourself into a bit of a child's pose position, just to give yourself a little bit of a stretch before we go into all fours. So when we're on all fours, we're going to start a little bit of weight bearing exercise first of all. So think about wrists in line with your shoulders, knees in line with your hips. You're in a tabletop position. And I want you to engage the core, so you're pulling up and in through, like pulling up your belly button in towards your spine. And then we're just going to raise one arm up and then back down. And then raise the other arm and back down. So we're just going to swap from one side to the other. Try to keep the core engaged and try and think that you can balance a tray of drinks on your back. So your spine isn't moving, your pelvis isn't moving from side to side. You're being stable through the spine, keeping it in a neutral spine position. And then we're just going to bring in our legs as well. So leg goes out, opposite leg and arm. So think about a nice straight position from your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder, all the way down to your toes. Think about that nice straight position. Try not to dip in your spine, try not to tilt in your pelvis. Feeling the muscles work at the back of the shoulder and also your glutes and your abdominals. Pop that leg back down, let's swap sides. So going into our bird dog, so think about that nice straight position. Head is down. So wherever your head goes, your spine's going to go. So make sure that the head, you're looking downwards. And then swap to the other side. So just pausing and holding this position. Hold it up nice, straight alignment. And swap over to the other side. Pause and hold. Keep everything aligned and then back down. Well done. So now we're just going to go into a little bit of a, I guess, a presser position, but we're going to start with all fours. So in your all four position, I want you first of all to bring your hands out wide, so they're kind of wide on the mat, or even further than that. So it just depends on you know, what feels comfortable for you, but wider than your shoulders. Then you're going to just bring your nose down towards the mat. So keep your core engaged, make sure you're zipping up the core. So as you come down, you're not sinking through your spine. So you've got your core engaged the whole time as you bring nose to mat. Last one. Good. And then if in between you need to roll your wrists or kind of stretch out the wrists, if it's a bit intense on your wrists, you can do that. The other thing that you can do is roll up your mat and position your wrists on the mat if it feels a little bit too intense. Because sometimes if you've got a bit of lack of mobility in our wrists, it can be a bit intense. So this time, we're going to keep wide, but now you're going to bring your knees back and come more into a kneeling plank position. So I want you to tuck your tailbone and make sure that your glutes are switched on and your lower abdominals are switched on before you even start. So then as we come down to the mat, you're not collapsing in your body, okay? So we're just slowly coming down and then bringing ourselves back up. Keep everything engaged. Now if this is too much, go back to the first position when we were on all fours. So bring your knees in. Sorry, that's my knee creaking. Keep it going. Last one. And then bring yourself up. Well done. So we're going to go into a plank position now. If you want to stay on your knees, stay on your knees. You don't have to come into that full plank position. But for those who want to come into the full plank, I want you to, first of all, just stretch off your toes, because it can be quite intense on the toes. So if you have one leg straight, and just sort of wiggle your toes forward and back, just so that you're stretching those off. They can be quite stiff in the morning. And then we'll do the same on the other side. So when we go into our plank, what we're going to do is tuck our toes underneath us. We're going to push our bottom in the ears. We're going to go into a downward dog first. So when we're in downward dog, again, you might want to pulse the knees just so that you're mobilising the back of the body and just stretching off those toes a little bit first. And then we're going to tuck the tailbone underneath us. So squeeze your glutes, tuck your tailbone, bring yourself down into your plank. And then when you're in your plank, I want you to think about hiding your armpits. But when you hide your armpits, imagine someone's tickling you and you're stopping them from tickling you. That's the sensation. And you should feel a little bit of a shakiness in this position. Maybe everything's wobbling for me this morning. Keep the glutes switched on. Now bend your knees, push yourself back into downward dog. So in downward dog, just pulse the legs. Keep pushing strong through the hands. So almost like you're squashing your grapes through your hands as well. So every single finger, you're grounding, pushing down into the floor. Tuck your tailbone underneath you, come down into your plank again. So we're pausing in that plank position. Think about that straight alignment. Shoulders, pelvis, knees, ankles in a straight alignment, head is down. So you're tucking your tailbone and you're hiding your armpits. So really feel nice and strong. You might be wobbly and shaky, which is good. Now bend your knees, push yourself back up. Give yourself a little bit of a wiggle here with your legs, pushing through your hands. You're really trying to get your bottom up towards the ceiling. So getting some space in your armpits. And then tuck your tailbone, come back down. Now if you're obviously on your knees, doing a plank on your knees, you just come in and out. You don't have to obviously come up into downward dog, or you can just come down here. So coming onto your knees, coming into that plank position. Holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your knees down. Give yourself a little bit of a shake. Give your hands a little bit of a wiggle as well. So if you want to stay on your feet, you can stay on your feet, or you can come down onto your elbows. We're going to do some eccentric press-ups. So we're going to come down slowly onto the mat, but not push ourselves back up, okay? So with those, instead of a wide base, I want you to have a normal base. So wrists are in line with your shoulders. So we're in that plank position first of all. Wrists are in line with your shoulders, keeping your elbows in. And then we're just slowly lowering. So you're just slowly coming down onto the mat. So let's try that again. So wrists are in line. You're getting a nice strong plank. Now you can do this on your knees as well, if it's too much on your toes. Get your strong plank, be solid through the body. Don't collapse in your body. And then just lowering yourself down. Let's do one more of those. So strong in your plank. Don't collapse. Be nice and strong first of all. Don't let your body move. So the only thing that's moving is your shoulders and your elbows as you're just coming down nice and slow. You should be feeling that in your upper limb now. So give your arms a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a wiggle, and then I want you to bring your one arm across your body, using your hand to just squeeze it into your chest a little bit more. Same on the other side. Oh gosh, my shoulder just had a big clunk there. And then also if we go overhead, so stretching off those triceps. So reaching down behind your back and then using the other hand to push your elbow a little bit further. And then same on the other side. And then if you can just reach sideways, bring the arm up and over, looking underneath our armpit. And same on the other side. Well done. So you should be feeling that this morning. I mean, it might be worth just doing a bit of shaking or shoulder rolls just to get the blood flow through the upper limb. And yeah, on Thursday, we're going to be doing some lower limbs. So core and lower limb on Thursday. And I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you thought. And the other exercise, so the one that I did last week, is also on YouTube as well, and I'll upload this to YouTube. So it'll stay in the group for 30 days, but you can always go back and watch it on YouTube and catch up. So well done everyone. So you're nailing a Tuesday. Yeah, see you Thursday.